Bunn-Parsons, and I'm the director of the Autism Ambassadors Corps, and this is, I believe, the third part of our Autistic Social Skills series, and oh, come on.
If it works.
I will make this work. Okay, so my number one point of emphasis about autistics, Aspies, okay? Autistics and Aspies are first and foremost human beings, okay? Autistics, Aspies have, as all human beings, the same inherent needs, wants, and desires. We just have some unique challenges in getting them met, okay? The right to be our own unique individual selves, to set boundaries, to follow the path of our own choosing, contingent to our abilities. Contingent, depending upon our abilities and maturity. Okay, so there are some individuals, especially those who would be considered lower functioning autistics, who do not have the cognitive capacity to decide, to move out on their own, and as well as other, disabilities.
Someone that would need like a caretaker.
Or just need to live under, mom and dad's roof.
Okay.
So there are certain, individuals, autistic and otherwise, that simply, lack the cognitive, the thinking ability, to make these decisions, and in those situations, yes, somebody needs to make those decisions for them. But if you have the capacity to make those decisions for yourself, reasonable decisions, then you have the right to make those decisions, even if somebody else disagrees with them. Like you and I were talking about before, we started the video, started the recording, is that, as long as it's sane and it's legal, then, then you should be supportive of their decision, to do whatever, that they want to do.
Okay.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay, all right. And object when someone is making assessments of us that we believe are erroneous. Now, these rights are things that I learned back, in my 20s, when I attended a general purpose 12-step program in which I dealt with codependency, and learning that all human beings have these rights. Okay, as a codependent, my definition of codependency is when your identity and self-worth rests in other people. Okay, and so this is why it's important to understand, these rights, because our identity should not be based on what other people think, because one person likes, another person doesn't like, and you can't be changing your personality every time you meet somebody new. And so anyways, just because society treats us, it makes us feel a certain way about ourselves, that does not make it true. Okay, in other words, we are not born on the wrong planet. I know a lot of people that identify with this. There's even a website called wrongplanet.com, which a lot of autistics, Aspies frequent, and I understand why they have this perspective, but it's also self-defeating, because basically what you're doing is you're basically submitting to the opinions of your bullies. Okay, those are the people that convince us that there's something wrong with us, is the people that mistreat us, especially the bullies, which we will be getting more into later on today. But it's just like somebody who's been in domestic violence. Okay, their abuser tells them that they're stupid, they're ugly, they can never make it on their own, and as long as they continue to believe that person that's abusing them, they will stay enslaved to that abuser. Okay, and the first step is to help that person realize that all these things that their abuser has pounded into their head is wrong, and to reject them. And that's why, I'm a firm advocate of, I understand why you believe this about yourself, but you have to reject this or you will never succeed in social skills, because the entire mindset is self-defeating. It is saying that your abuser the bullies in your life were right about you. And that is something you never want to do, whether you're an autistic or a woman in domestic violence. You do not want to believe this. You do not want to believe anything that your abuser says about you.
Okay.
So, okay. And this is completely contrary to the status quo view of autism Asperger's. The web pages for the major autism organizations that explain autism, SARC, Southwest Autism Research and Resource Center, the ASA Autism Society of America, and Autism Speaks, and the National Autism Association. Okay, SARC is the most prominent autism organization in Arizona, and the other three are the most prominent autism organizations nationwide. Okay, and if you go to these links that I provided, talking about what is autism, okay, basically they have nothing good to say about us. Okay, they define us solely by our deficits.
All of them are bad.
All of them are single-minded.
Okay.
Okay, it's not to say that there aren't some legitimacy to some of their observation. The problem is, like I was telling this bus driver earlier today that brought me to the meeting, is that okay, now what was my point? Okay, that they define us solely by our struggles when in fact I'm sorry, I just lost my point. Watch my previous videos where I do a much better job. For some reason I'm not doing as good a job of explaining this section this month for whatever reason, but bottom line is that's what it was, is that these are written from the perspective of non-Autistics, okay? And so you only get one side of the story by reading these.
So it'd be neurotypical.
Yeah, yes, neurotypical is the term that we use. And so that's the thing, you're only getting one side of the story, okay? Autistics, we look at these and there may be some legitimacy. You might be pointing out some specific oddities, but as far as why we are the way we are, that's not included. And anyways, it's something I don't want to go into too much time today on because I talked about so much in previous videos. I don't want to spend all my time being all negative. But the thing is, this has to be pointed out, is that these autism organizations, they are singly focused on our deficits. Okay, and and B, it cherry-picked Dr. Connor's original 1943 paper, focusing solely on our struggles while ignoring the strengths that he also observed. Okay, Dr. Connor is the one that coined the term autism back in 1943. Okay, and at the same time, Dr. Asperger's was in Nazi Germany. That's just where he happened. Well, he's born in Austria, which got annexed by the Germans. And he was a pediatrician, and he was making these observations. And Dr. Laura Wing in 1980, basically translated these writings into English, and she coined the term Asperger's syndrome. And basically, my assessment of the difference between autism and Asperger's is Dr. Laura Wing did not cherry pick Dr. Asperger in just focusing on the negatives, whereas the American psychologists have done exactly that. And then once Asperger appeared in the DSM-4, Diagnostic Statistical Manual is what psychologists and psychiatrists use for their diagnostic criteria. They went and they cherry-picked Dr. Connor, or Dr. Asperger, when defining, his own, defining Asperger's syndrome. And so that's the problem. When you're talking about, discussion about, what autism is, it is a cherry-picked concept where people, again, are focusing on our struggles and defining us solely by our struggles while ignoring a mountain of evidence that shows that there's more to us than our struggles. Okay, C, it destroys our self-confidence and self-esteem, causing many to assume that second and third parties must solve all of our problems and clean up all of our messes. A few weeks ago, I got into exchange with other autistics on Facebook who was ripping into Temple Grandin. Okay, Temple Grandin is the most prominent autistic self-advocate in North America. Okay, and she's written several books that are really great books, but that they were ripping on her, claiming that, oh, that she lived a privileged life. Oh, by the way, no, she was born at a time before Asperger's was even known, when autism was officially known as childhood schizophrenia, and that basically.
Screen turned off.
What's that?
The screen turned off.
Oh. Oh. Dadgummit. Okay. I'm back. Okay. I forgot to put my laptop in. Okay, we got to pause this video here because it's going to take me a minute. Okay. 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 Okay, we resume. Okay, so yeah, this is definitely not one of my better days, but life happens and you just got to keep on rolling with the punches sometimes. So that's what I'm going to keep doing. So, this thing is being temperamental today, so okay. All right. So anyways, so yeah, they were ripping on Temple Grandin, she tries to encourage autistics to be more than what they think they are, and that in her opinion, and I agree with it, that autistics are being excessively babied, in this day and age, and not being encouraged to try to develop beyond what they are. And so they were ripping on her, and somebody came up with this complete lie that Temple Grandin was in favor of aborting lower functioning autistics. And where in the world did you come up with that? She has never, ever, ever said anything like that. If you actually read Temple Grandin's material and listen to her, she fully acknowledges that there are lower functioning autistics that need special consideration, but at the same time, and this is my own wording, higher functioning autistics should not be treated like lower functioning autistics. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, just because a lower functioning autistic needs special accommodations, that doesn't mean that every single autistic should assume that they need that same accommodation. So, anyways, and it's a direct result of how, again, autism is being presented to us, focusing solely on our struggles and nothing else. Okay, that is leading, not only our parents, but many autistics themselves into believing that they can't do anything for themselves. They need other people to solve everything for them. Okay, to assume that we can never succeed in various areas of our lives, including developing social skills. And again, I have met so many autistics that assume they can't succeed. Resigned to living a life deprived of what we truly want for ourselves. Again, I've observed this at other autism meetings, not just online, but also face-to-face with autistics at other groups, is that they believe that they're basically living condemned lives. This is what needs to be confronted, and refuse to have anything to do with their diagnosis. Okay, this is a completely separate group of autistics who so detest everything's being said about autism, that they refuse to acknowledge that they are autistic, and so they won't get the special assistance that they may need in certain areas. Okay, and so that's another group of autistics that that are paying the price for these organizations focusing solely on our struggles. All right. Okay, and blatantly violates what I learned during my code of recovery, which I mentioned earlier, which basically sums up everything in this section. Okay, and so so the atypical social development of autistics. Okay, so that's an overview of what we discussed before. Okay, the major problem that I see in the autism community is that we spend all of our time. A major problem I see in the autism community is that all of the time is spent on talking about how deficient autistics aspects are in the areas of social development without asking the following 7 questions. Okay? 1, how are social skills / relationships typically developed in the first place? Okay? And the answer is through social interaction with other human beings in an emotionally safe environment. And I know so many autistics that will tell you that neurotypicals are born with the inherent knowledge of how to socialize, and anybody that is that is a reputable psychologist or involved with social skills will tell you that is complete bunk. Okay, that all human beings need to develop social skills over time. Social skills are a learned behavior. Okay, and so this needs to be understood is that and the reason why autistics have come across this misperception is because when we talk about social skills, it's all about how deficient we are at social skills. And that's all it is. It begins and ends with how deficient we are at social skills. Okay? But without discussing the fact that that's how social skills are actually developed. Okay? So the typical stages of social development, okay, all the information prior to ages 8+ is, to the best of my recollection, of what was taught to me by Lisa Rattan in 1993. Lisa Rattan was the director of the Early Childhood Department at Word of Grace Church in Mesa, Arizona, USA. And prior to that, she taught early childhood over at ASU. She was on faculty. She never said she was a professor, only that she was on faculty and taught early childhood at ASU. So anyways, so she had a 7-week, 2-hour-a-week training course for all new teachers to teach us, how to manage a classroom, including 1 full session on social skills. Okay. Okay. Everything after 8+ are based on my observations, are my own observations based on my experiences as a child who struggled with social interaction with his peers, to a student who saw school counselors in order to work on the above-mentioned struggles, a volunteer and professional child care provider, a codependent that went to a general-purpose 12-step program in which included program in which issues like assessing what is actually happening around me, seeing things from other points of view. Okay, I'm losing my focus on my reading. Okay, the 12-step program, which issues like assessing what is actually happening around me, seeing things from the points of views of others, conflict resolution, stress management, etc. Okay, 5, an adult interacting with other adults of various ages and at various ages. Okay, yeah, other adults of various ages at various ages. Okay, yeah. Okay. It might be more accurate to say that everything A+ is based on my personal stages of social development and or peer observations about those I've interacted with. Okay. And so now I need to okay, I'm not even going to bother trying to use this. I don't know if the battery's out or something, but I simply need something to work right now. Okay, so here's a chart about the stages of social development. Now, this is written by somebody who's basically wanting to educate people about, educate parents about the different milestones that their child will go through in their social development, so parents can gauge whether or not their children are developing accordingly. Now, Lisa Rattan taught us something similar, but she was basically focused on giving us the information needed to manage a classroom full of children. Okay, she was not training us to diagnose children with anything or anything like that. So we talked a lot about social development, and we talked a lot about language development, and also expectations for a group. Okay, 2-year-olds. Okay, we introduced the idea of small group to 2-year-olds. Okay, I believe that basically it was simply reading a book. Inviting all the kids to come over. To listen. To the teacher read a book and free flow dialogue. Any child that felt like getting up to go back and playing, we let them do it. It was not mandatory for them, to be tied down for 5 minutes or so, to listen to a story if they're not, interested in it. By the time we get to the 4 to 5-year-olds, yes, they were expected to stay in group, and the teachers would structure, the lesson, in a way that interacts, with structured interaction with the children. Okay. So, anyways, and so so this is largely, what she taught, because that is the information that we needed. Now, a pastor of mine actually at Word of Grace, so he did a teaching on the stages of life, okay, where basically spring, summer, fall, winter, okay. Spring was birth through about 20 years old, okay. Summer, when we're at our peak, was between 15 and 40. Like, oh, wait a minute, there's an overlap there, okay. Yes, the transition between the seasons, there are transitional periods, which the first one is between 15 and 25, when you're transitioning from being a child to being an adult, okay. And it is a very confusing time, for people to go through that stage. And then the next season was fall, which was, I believe, 40 through 65, and the transition period there, often referred to as midlife crisis, was between 35 and 45, where you're not able, you're starting to not be able to do the things that you used to be able to do, okay, and you're having to deal with that fact, and so when it comes to talking about stages of social development, there are a variety of different ways. There is no definitive no chart to use. This is as good a chart as any, and if you Google stages of social development on Google Images, you'll find a variety of different charts, and I don't know that any of them are contradictory, but they just vary, from chart to chart. The important thing to understand is that we do develop over time. These are done in stages. Nobody is born with the ability to socialize. Okay, socialization is something that takes time. Okay, so getting back to the slides, okay? Okay, so 0 to 2, okay, again, this is based on what Lisa Rattan taught me, is solitary play. Children play basically by themselves, okay? Tend to play alone, and there's little interaction with other children. 2 to 2.5 years, they're spectators, okay? They will watch other children playing, but will not join in, okay? 2.5 to 3 years old, okay? Parallel play, okay? They will play alongside others, but not together, okay? Then 3 to 4 years old, associative play. They begin to interact with others in play and start to develop friendships, and the preference of playing with certain children over with other children, anyways. 4 years plus, okay, and again, this was taught to me by Lisa Rattan, and we did early childhood, which was birth through kindergarten, so this is why, I'm doing 4 plus, it stops here, because that's basically what we did. Okay, children play together with other children, sharing goals for their play. Okay, so there's a box of Legos, and they work together to build a structure. Whereas parallel play, there's a box of Legos. One child is building one thing, another child is over here building something completely different. Okay, so that's the difference between the two stages. Okay. 8 years plus, okay, the quest for peer affirmation. Trying to impress their friends by trying to act 10 years older than they actually are. At least that's what they think that they're doing, okay? And I was telling this school librarian, this information, and yeah, she's the one that says, yeah, they think they're acting 10 years older, but they're really just being obnoxious, And so yeah, but that is typical, is children are looking forward, okay, and if you look at my previous presentation talking about the neurology of autism, okay, is that we're often delayed in going through these stages. So where our peers are trying to act 10 years older than we are. Okay, the observations of my teachers back in the 1970s when I was going through elementary schools is that I was acting immature. Okay. That was their assessment. Again, they didn't understand high-functioning autism. Actually, autism still was not a standalone diagnosis in the DSM until 1980, the DSM-3. Autism was still, first and foremost referred to as childhood schizophrenia. But anyway, so basically, I was tested in 3rd grade. I had 140 IQ, so obviously I had to be smart enough to know how to interact socially with other children. Well, no. Okay, book smart and being able to interact with your peers are two completely separate functions of the human brain. And just because somebody can do super duper well on their test scores does not mean that they can figure out what their peers, are wanting. And so my perspective is that I thought I was imitating my peers. Okay, I really did think that I was imitating my peers. The thing is, my assessment today is that by the time that I had mastered that way of socialization, my peers had progressed to a new level, okay, the new cool things to say, all right, the new cool way to act, okay, and so I was always lagging behind my peers as we went along through the social through our social development, and so which led to the erroneous assessment of my teachers that I was being immature, and they believed that I was doing it on purpose in order to get negative attention, and I was and people were telling me that. I'm like, what are you talking about? I thought that I was imitating my peers, but I wasn't. And my peers knew it. So Okay, another thing to prove their toughness and bravery, especially boys. You know, I don't know what percentage of boys are going to wind up in the ER before they, before they graduate from high school because they did something incredibly stupid to impress their peers and broke a bone or something like that. But, you know, as a boy, I was expected to show how tough and how brave I was by doing things like jumping, my bike, over low ramps, which I was scared to do. And now that I'm older and I understand what the issues are, I have poor motor skills, poor balance. Okay, if I would have tried to jump, I would have wrecked. I could have very well landed on my head and busted my head wide open because of these specific issues that I have that the average boy my age did not have. And so this led to a lot of ridicule, and a lot of boys, autistic boys, they are ridiculed over this, or just simply wanting to engage in affection play, like playing with dolls, okay, and playing house and stuff like that. Boys aren't supposed to do that. Boys are supposed to be tough. Boys are supposed to, do stupid things and get themselves hurt. Show how brave they are. And somebody like nurturing younger children, there's something wrong with that. That's not what little boys are supposed to want to do, but that's who I was. Okay, and so when we're talking about how I was different, yes, I was different. No, I was not a girl. I was an autistic. All right, and what happens with little boys who do not meet the expectation of boys? They're called girls, and sometimes just straight up, and other times derogatory, terms, used to refer to girls, and that's what autistic boys are subjected to. So when we're talking about, why the rate of autism amongst boys is like 3 to 1 compared to girls, well, a lot of it is, I believe that it's okay for a girl to be an introvert. An introvert girl is referred to as shy. Okay, an introvert boy is referred to as a recluse. And there's something wrong. We need to get this boy involved. We need to get this boy doing this. We need to get this boy doing that. But if a girl wants to be shy, she wants to play with dolls over by herself, that's okay. And so, I really believe, that is, a unique issue. We talk about how women and girls suffer from male chauvinism. Well, autistic males also suffer from male chauvinism because we can't meet the expectations of the male chauvinist. So we have no desire to meet the expectation of the male chauvinist. So anyways, 15 to 30, the battle for independence, and that's what it really is for a lot of people, is trying to figure out, as I mentioned earlier, how do you become an adult? You're transitioning from being a child, thinking like a child, having childlike goals, to thinking like an adult and having adult-like goals. Okay. People will view independence/adulthood as A, the opportunity to develop and achieve their greatest potential as possible, or B, liberation from being told what to do by their parents and teachers. Okay, now these are completely unique individuals to deal with, and you need to deal with them in a different manner. Okay, an autistic who follows the rules, is a good boy and follows the rules, okay, will get along with group A a lot better, and they're more likely to be ridiculed by group B. You're such a square, and all this stuff. And so, this will lead to additional conflict. And so, who's to blame for this conflict? The autistic or the neurotypical? The standard, position of always blaming the autistic, and that's what I read. Okay, what we have here, jobs. Accommodations Network, employment's oh, this is Asperger's syndrome. Okay, this is the 2013 version that they did no, the 2013 is but anyways, based on the DSM-4 criteria. And when you go to the section on dealing with conflict with coworkers, what you will see is that the people that wrote this, which included the three national organizations I mentioned before, SARC, Autism Society of America, and National Autism Association, they operate under the assumption that the problems with the autistic, and we need to work with the autistic to understand, the problems that they're causing, and to get the co-workers to be understanding of the autistic, and so everybody can play nice together. Well, what about the fact that sometimes the problem is the neurotypical? The problem is that, that the neurotypical that they're dealing with is rebellious by nature, and a goody-goody autistic who wants to follow the rules because they like structured environments gets ridiculed. Okay, and so when you're talking about conflicts, autistic's ability to deal with conflicts, and the conflicts autistics involved with, the idea that it's always our fault is completely bogus. Okay, the primary battleground that teens/young adults may struggle with is self-confidence, their dreams, and parental involvement or lack thereof. Okay, parents can be great when they give us the right amount of help. Okay, when they give us too much help, when they want to micromanage, their children, it can cause as much problem as if the parents do the exact opposite, as, well, it's your own decision, do whatever you want. Because the fact is, young adults don't have the information that they need to make wise decisions. And so yes, they need guidance, in order to assess the facts and making an informed decision about what's best for them. Anyways, okay, so then the next stage, 20 years plus, the reality of adulthood. Oh, wait a minute. Again, there's overlap here. Okay, and figuring out that independence/adulthood is not as easy as we thought it was when we were these sheltered teenagers, who thought that we were just being so oppressed by our parents because we had to be in by 10 o'clock on school nights or whatever the curfew was. Oh, our parents just don't understand this, they don't understand that, wham, 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 wham. Okay? And that when we become adults, we find out, wait a minute, it's not that easy. Some people will become delusions with life in general due to the pain and disappointment. Okay, this comes from 11 rules kids won't learn in school. Rule number 4, if you think your teacher is tough, wait till you get a boss. He doesn't have tenure, so he tends to be a bit edgier. Well, when you screw up, he's not going to ask you how you feel about it. Okay, and that's the reality, that we have to deal with in adulthood, is that we're dealing with, that life isn't as easy as we thought it was going to be. Okay, all right. Oh shoot, I thought I had some other slides in here. Okay, as far as, okay, I need to, I'm having one of my not better days, but again, a lot of autistics think that when they're struggling, they just have to pack it in, but no, you don't just pack it in, you keep persevering. So anyways, you think your teacher's tough, wait till you get a boss, and and it's, like I said, a lot of young adults will become disillusioned. Okay, the one that that have all have their entire life planned out about how they're going to go to college, and they're going to get this great career, then they're going to get a wife, 2.5 kids, nice house, blah blah blah. They're going through life and they realize and they struggle, that all these plans don't work out quite as well. Or on the flip side, that going back to those who define that look forward to adulthood and independence as no longer being told what to do. Well, the fact is, yeah, you're always going to have somebody telling you what to do. Your boss is going to continue to tell you what to do. Okay, and if you want to keep that job, you need to to treat your boss with the respect that you never treated your parents with. Be quite frank about it. Okay, and so yeah, it's quite a reality check to become an adult and realize that all these ideas you had about how great being independent is, and I hear so many adults, that they look at little children, happy-go-lucky preschool-age children, is like, wow, I wish I could be their age again. Because life was just so much simpler when you had no responsibility. And so, okay, 30 plus years old, the reality of the need for interdependence. Okay, developing a more balanced view of life and oneself. Although we need to develop our own unique personalities as we walk our own unique paths, we still need each other, because no man or woman is an island unto themselves. And this is something, and again, that these aren't absolute. Some people may develop this reality earlier on. Others may still be in denial of this to the day they die. They are going to be the stereotypical John Wayne, Mr. Independent, I don't need anybody's help for anything, and they will live far more miserable lives than they need to. Okay, the people that have the happiest, most fulfilling lives are the ones that come to this reality that we are interdependent upon each other. Okay, and so that they look at somebody, with deficits, and people who have come to this reality will look at somebody with these deficits and realize, you know what? Yeah, they're struggling, but nevertheless, they can still contribute in other ways. And this is where these are the people that I succeeded with as a young adult. Okay, people that were old enough to be my parents and grandparents, because what will happen a lot of times, there are certain individuals that's especially if you're one of these people that are trying as hard as you can to self-improve, okay, they will look at you and they will just have this desire to take you under their wing and to support you and help develop you as much as possible. Okay, and so when we're talking about what type of people autistics have the easiest time socializing with, it's those that have come to this reality of understanding that we are interdependent upon each other, and that everybody has a place, has a contribution to make, and will give them the opportunity to make whatever contribution they're capable of making. These people do exist, okay, and basically, where did I find them? I found them at the 12-step meeting. Okay, people that were there because they knew that they had problems, and they were working to to try to fix their problems, and so they would be supportive of other people that had that same endeavor. Now, again, the one that I went to was, is based at a local church. It wasn't part of AA, NA, or any of the other A's. And the thing that's the AA and the other A's problem that they have is that a lot of the people that are at their meeting are court-ordered. They don't want to be there, and quite frankly, they can be a poison to the group. And it is what it is. I'm not bashing AA and the other A's over this. I'm just pointing out that that you may not find that at one of those meetings. That you may need to find it at a smaller group, unaffiliated, and so isn't going to be flooded with all these people that are there against their will. Although some of them might be there because their spouse told them that they have to, or their parents, or somebody like that. But the people that are there against their will, are a lot fewer, and those are the places. And also Sunday school classes is another place I found individuals like this, okay? And yes, there are Pharisees at the Sunday school classes, but there's also, but you look for the person that actually wants to self-improve, the person that is willing to admit, that they struggle in areas, and not just simply uttering the sentence, yes, I struggle in certain areas, but are willing to be honest and open about what specific areas that they struggle with. These are what we refer to as the safe personalities that, to have as a mentor, as somebody to help groom you, as somebody that, that they themselves are willing to admit struggle, okay? Somebody who thinks that they got their act together and you just need to be a carbon copy of me, those are the most dangerous, and you need to stay away from them because they're going to do nothing but beat down your self-esteem. That's all they do, and so just stay away from those individuals and find those who are willing to admit, to what specifically their struggles are. Okay? Okay, those who try to live contrary to this fact will inflict, as I mentioned, it will inflict misery and loneliness upon themselves, autistics and Aspies otherwise. Or otherwise. And so, in other words, yes, I know that autistics, have a tendency to, become, social recluses as a result of the abuse that they've had, the negative experiences that they've had, with peer interaction. And these are psychological issues that need to be addressed. Okay, the problem, one of the problems with the autism community is they are dealing with these issues as solely a neurological issue, okay, without any recognition that the experiences that autistics have growing up impact our personality, okay? And so what they're trying to do is they're trying to program away all these insecurities. Oh, we're just going to program you like a good little robot to know exactly how you behave in these situations. And the thing is, I don't care how good your programming is, if your self-confidence has been completely crushed by the negative experiences that you've had in previous social relationships, autistic or otherwise, neurotypicals from domestic violence backgrounds, have these exact same issues, okay? That's why I know this is not autism, okay? This is consequences of being abused, okay? And like we discussed in the 12-step meeting, you'll just keep dragging this baggage around like a lead anchor, and it's going to take down all your relationships, okay? The only way that you're going to be able to overcome to develop the relationships, in the future, is you got to let go of all the baggage, and that's a long, separate subject matter. But you got to let go of that baggage, so that way it's not, dragging you down as you go along the way. And the autism community has completely and totally neglected to deal with this issue. Okay, they know it's well documented that we're bullied, and it's well documented that children who are bullied will have social deficits, but the autism community cannot put two and two together to realize that our social deficits have a lot to do with being born. Anyways, yeah, I'm being extremely redundant, but it's important to understand this. Okay, 45 plus year olds, years old, okay, the reality of mortality, and this may have more to do with me than the average autist, than the average human being, okay, but, you know, as somebody who's never gotten married, has no children, I can't preoccupy myself, with other stuff that brings joy to my life. I try to find joy in other things, but the thing is, at 45 years old, it's like, the fact that my body is wearing down. Okay. Hello.
Hello.
That's Pastor Becker. So, anyways, if you can see here, you can see that there's a bend in my thumb here. Okay, and basically, that's arthritis. I was at a doctor's appointment a few years ago, and he saw that like, oh, you broke your pinky at some point. I'm like, no, I didn't. Like, yes, you did. This is an indication at some point in my life I broke my pinky, and now arthritis has developed, and it really, and unperformed, but seriously, it's, I'm dealing with a lot of these aging issues, and so, especially, like I said, with no children, obviously no grandchildren, who's going to take care of me, once I get to that age where you need, to be taken care of, which if you live long enough, everybody comes to that stage, and I'm going to be stuck in a nursing home somewhere and just hope that the staff there.
As nice as me. You want
Well, if you want to weigh in on this, because you're actually, I don't want to volunteer information that you would feel comfortable talking about, but if you'd like to volunteer, because you're a few years ahead of me in life. Thank you. And so, in talking about the stages of development and the stage that you're in, if you'd like to say what your age is at this time.
I am 72.
72.
And I was told, what you just said, I was told that years ago by a guy who was in charge of nursing homes, and he said, if you live long enough, somebody's going to have to take care of you.
Mm-hmm.
My mom was 100, just turned 100 the 1st of October.
Mm-hmm.
And she's pretty much self-sufficient, but she does need, a walker.
Mm-hmm.
And she's in an assisted living place, but she doesn't like their assistants, so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But, yeah, she needs help, some.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, you live long enough, you're gonna need help, and somebody's gonna have to dig your grave.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I have a friend who happens to be autistic as well. He said that he told his parents that if he ever gets to the age where somebody has to clean up his, clean him up, after having accidents, soiling his pants, to just euthanize him, because he does not want to be dependent upon people, because it would be so undignified. Of course, by the time he gets to that age, his parents will probably be passed away. But it's the whole issue of preserving dignity, for people, and when they're losing their abilities, losing their independence, and needing other people to take care of the most basic things that they've been doing themselves since they were 5 years old or 2 years old. 2, 3 years old, was when the average child gets potty trained. And now all of a sudden they have to, suffer the indignity of having other people deal with it. Yeah, it can definitely, impact, people. And like I was saying earlier, is that, with with me having no kids, no grandkids, this is something, that's that I've been thinking about a lot sooner than the average person does. You have kids and grandkids, and although they're not in town, they're probably willing to help out a little bit at least, but of course you will be moving closer to them at the end of this month. How far away are they going to be? Because I know you're not going to be in the same town as them.
About 90 miles from our...
About 90 miles, so depending on how fast your kids drive, it could be an hour.
Hour and a half anyway.
Hour and a half, depending on how fast your kids
I don't
drive.
plan on having kids, but I know my brother does one day, so at least I'll have future nieces and nephews help me out one day.
Oh, okay. So yeah.
I don't want kids. I never wanted kids. I'm not changing my mind later in the future. So my brother's children will.
Okay, well, yeah, you better be the doting aunts if you want them to take care of you.
My brother's younger, so I've got maybe 10 years till I'll be an aunt.
Assuming that...
Maybe 10, 15 years. He's finishing his third year of law school now.
Assuming that everything goes according to his master plan, which sometimes children don't work like that.
At least he'll take care of me, and I have friends that are 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
They'll help me.
Yeah, okay. So, as long as everything goes according to the master plan, then okay, sounds great.
My
But
parents are 30 years older than me. They won't be able to take care of me when I need help.
so, anyways. Yeah, these master plans about, we're going to have, like I was mentioning earlier, the reality of adulthood about 20 to 30, where you thought, here's how life's going to be, and we're just going to plug right along, and so you go and get your college degree, then go out and get your first job, and things start not working like you thought they were going to, and so that's life. Deal with it, so. Anyways, and again, like I said, other people are going to have different charts, and probably just about everybody else's chart isn't going to have 45 plus. They're going to have a stage or two more in it, but again, I'm 48, so I can't really speak to what it's like being 72, because I haven't reached that far yet. So I'll let you know what it's like once I get there. But right now, I can only tell you what it's like being 48. What's it like being 72? Would you like to tell us what it's like being 72?
It's kind of a shock. Mm-hmm. Because, when I was a kid, 72-year-olds were ancient. I don't feel ancient, except this last year, my body's been, now I don't have to have a cane, but it gives me a little sense of security. And I'm being checked for Parkinson's disease, and well, that's not fatal. It can be can close you in a little bit.
Yeah.
You say your grandma had it? And
My grandma has it.
Oh, yeah.
She's 82. She has shaky hands, that's it. She's not as bad as Michael J. Fox.
Yeah.
He's still doing pretty good for considering what he's dealing with.
My grandma has had, I don't even know how old my grandma is, but I'm 48, so she's probably at least 40 years older than me. So, but anyways, 35, 40 years older. But anyways, her Parkinson's was noticeable back when I was 20. Because the cracking in her voice, that's that was really obvious. Is that he had cracking in his voice. Hi.
I get some prayer.
She's here for some prayer. Would you like to?
I don't know if anybody can help me or not. I'm a widow. I just had hip surgery, and I'm waiting for my. I didn't mean to interrupt your.
Okay. Well, here. You can go ahead and just do a quick prayer here. So. Okay. All right.
You're the pastor?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
So
So you knew what to do. I did.
people want prayer, you give them a prayer.
Yeah, I've been a Christian since I was 14 years old.
Okay.
Okay, and I can tell that that she's a charismatic, because of some of the things that that she did, and this is actually a Lutheran church,
Yeah,
which is non-charismatic, but anyway, so yeah, it's,
Because I was born Jewish, so I have my best friend's Christian, but I wouldn't know how to
Yeah.
prayer like that.
So, and anyways, so yeah, let me see about finishing up here, and so yeah, this is going to take additional parts here because I actually have, well, we're actually not even halfway through the presentation, but a lot of stuff happened today. Anyways, okay, coming to terms with the fact that you're not going to live forever, okay, and okay, so anyways, actually, but I'm going to go ahead and hold off, with the rest of the points because it's almost time for us to go, and so so just any further questions or comments that anybody would like to make as far as what was discussed so far this meeting?
Not for now.
No?
Are you autistic or?
Yeah, that's for.
So, yeah, and recently diagnosed?
No, 2011.
Oh, okay. So just 2 years after me then. So
I didn't find out until I was 24.
yeah, I didn't find out until I was 40. Got you beat. Yeah, Sue Gulliver.
They told me it was all in my head that I had Asperger's and that I was bipolar and.
Well, I've already noticed some of the attributes. Well, one of the biggest things I've already noticed is your eye contact. Is that when you're talking to me, you're doing basically what I'm doing right now is shutting your eyes off. Because it's a matter of being able to concentrate on what you're thinking about.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, making eye contact. Yes, you do gain information. About what's going on in the person's head. As far as are they offended? Are they interested? Are they bored out of their mind? And yes, this is good information to soak in, but in order to figure out how to respond, I need to shut off that information
Well, also,
so I can focus.
I've got other things. I've got plans with my friend later, so I'm thinking all the things I have to do when I get home and pack and get everything ready so I can go to the costume party. And I'm like, I've got all these things and I need to let my friend know that I'm here, but I have to let them know that I have to leave by a certain time.
Yeah.
I've got all this
So,
going on.
based on my understanding, that's actually an aspect of executive functioning because basically you're trying to organize your day, and it's getting a little bit chaotic because you have multiple things you're
That's why I kept checking
thinking
my
about.
phone, like what?
Yeah.
Almost three now. I have to
Oh,
be there at
so
6.
you weren't texting your friend like, oh, this guy's crazy.
No, I was
Yeah.
texting saying that at the
Yeah.
meeting, and I'm
Yeah.
he's at an event, and let me know when I have
Yeah.
to be there, when I have to leave, and what
Yeah.
your address is, so I know ahead of time what time I have to be there and how long it's going to take me to get there.
Yeah, so anyway, yeah, based on my understanding, of executive functioning issues, it does sound like it's executive functioning because it has to do with your ability to organize yourself, and you have multiple things you have to do today crowding into your brain, instead of somebody with perfect executive functioning can put the other event completely out of their mind and not think about it. Whereas you got both things. So in that area of executive functioning, you're having a little bit more challenge, maybe. But nevertheless, as far as organizing your personal space, like you were talking about earlier, you're what some people would consider to be obsessive because you have to have everything perfectly organized, which makes you an asset of your place of employment because you help
So
keep.
there was trash. It was done with my water
Yeah.
bottle and the name tag thing, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I have to go to the bathroom, but there's no trash around here, so I
Yeah.
have to throw it out. Then my space is clean. When I move this to table, we'll be okay.
Oh, yeah, we don't have a trash can out here. Oh, so anyways, but yeah, like you were discussing, earlier at your place of employment, is that you work the register, and there's another guy there who you suspect is also autistic. he has to have his place organized completely different, okay? So you two have to work separate registers, okay? He has to stay in his place, you stay in your place, and you two perfectly organize your individual spaces exactly how you have to have them, you know, and...
It's hard because we had a sale for Columbus Day, and we give stickers to children. If they're behaved, if they're screaming, they don't get anything. And he tells me to hand the stickers, and he gave me stickers, and then I'm like, I know I had 2 sheets of stickers, where are they? And I was like, did you take them? Yeah, I took them, I like those stickers. Oh, but you didn't tell me you took them. I thought I was losing my mind, like I lost them or the kids took them.
Okay, so he has, what might be considered, of course I don't want to do definitive, you know, diagnoses of somebody that I don't know based on one person's perspective, but it sounds like he might have a little bit of impulse issues as far as realizing, okay, if you're going to take something from somebody, even though it's the store's property, still, it was, you know, at your space, you know, he needs to let you know so that way you're not going crazy, where's the stickers? So, well, which is an executive functioning
and
issue.
then because we had these, we both like the Avengers, and we had these Avenger stickers, and he's like, oh, I'm going to take this one home. Do you want to take one home? I said, store property. You need to let the manager know. I do. I said, yeah, because that would be considered stealing. You could be either written up or fired from it. Because you did not buy those stickers. That is worth property.
Even though the monetary value of those stickers are what, maybe 10, 15 cents.
We have cameras on all the registers.
The point is,
see you taking it and putting it in your pocket.
Yeah, so.
So I sometimes have to remind him, you need to ask the manager before you take something.
Yeah.
Even if we don't need it, the sticker, we have a lot of them.
Yeah, you know, based on my understanding of executive functioning, I think that's probably also, because he needs to understand there's a protocol that he has to go through, and he's not grasping the protocol. It's taking him longer to grasp the protocol. Okay, if you want to take this, you need to ask permission. Yes,
it is work. You have to listen to your manager. You can't take work property without their permission.
Yes.
People have been fired for that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing, and we're going to be talking about that later, difference between, the social protocols of work and the social protocols of a Christmas social, okay, a free flow social, okay. Work protocols are absolute, and they're going to be pretty much the same no matter what job you have, okay, so he's not going to go work at a fast food restaurant and have to learn completely different protocols. The protocols are going to basically, be the same. There's a few procedural differences. A discount department store versus a fast food, but still the professional protocols are basically the same. Okay, whereas a Christmas social, it's a free-for-all. Everybody has their own personality, and you have to try to adapt to each individual personality. And so that's one of the things that needs to be addressed is people are assuming that we're going to have social issues at work, when the fact is you don't go to work to socialize.
Yeah.
You go to work to do work. There are some jobs that require more socialization. You have working the front register need to have more social skills than somebody stocking boxes in the back.
Yeah.
Okay, because you are interacting with the customers.
We have at my work, we have 2 different sections. We have production, which are the people that take their merchandise, price it, and put it out.
Right.
Operations that are in charge of register, meaning customers up asking customer questions. But I'm the main register, and other people aren't, because we have to say hello to the people that come in, goodbye to the people that leave, check people out, call for backup, make announcements, and other people don't want to hear their voice over the loudspeakers.
Okay. So, anyways, and so your employer has set absolute rules about what your job description is, and you just obey those rules.
Yeah.
Okay. If you went to a fast food restaurant, 95% of the rules are going to be the same. There might be 5-10% difference. Difference between the 2 jobs, but as far as how you treat the customer is going to be the same.
Yeah.
You don't cuss out the customer at either place, even if they deserve it. And some customers do deserve it,
That's
but
why if there's a problem, you call the manager.
Absolute protocol that applies at every job that you're at. See that You know, and that's one of the big points that I make is that just because, you know, you struggle, you know, in a free-flow social environment, that has nothing to do with your ability to function in a professional environment, okay? You just need to, you know, have the ability to basically, you know, deal with jerks, you know, that, you know, as long as...
And unfortunately in retail, there's plenty of them.
There's plenty of them no matter where you go, okay? The thing is, when you're an employee, you're not allowed to tell them what they deserve to hear.
Unfortunately, no.
Right, okay?
You can tell your coworkers when they leave what you
Yes,
them.
yes, you know, but you cannot tell the customer exactly what, you know, if you're getting to that point, what do you do?
Call the manager.
That's right, you know.
And they told me that, but I have a hard time if someone's yelling at me, you can tell I'm upset, because I don't like getting yelled at. Nobody likes getting yelled at.
You know.
I didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
I don't set the rules there. I'm not, it's not my company.
I know this gentleman, you know, he did not get diagnosed with autism until his late 60s. And
60s?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you know, and so, you know, he had this job at the bank, and he was a star teller, okay, and he kept getting promoted up until he made the mistake of accepting the job as a branch manager. Okay, at that point, you can't, you know, refer a problem customer to the person above you because you're that person.
Yeah.
Okay, and that was his mistake was accepting that promotion to where he couldn't just send that problem customer up the chain of command, you know, and let somebody else deal with it. So, anyways, well, that's all for this month, and so we will continue on with the other 7 things that need to be taken into consideration. So,
Okay.
all right, thank you. All right.